దూర విద్యా విధానంలో డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ దేశంలోనే మొట్టమొదటి సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం. దాదాపు 2.5 దశాబ్దాలుగా దూర విద్యా విధానం ద్వారా కంప్యూటర్ కోర్సును అనుసంధానం చేస్తూ BA, BCom, BSc డిగ్రీ కోర్సులను అందిస్తోంది. పోస్ట్ గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ స్థాయి, డిగ్రీ, డిప్లొమా స్థాయి కోర్సులను ఔత్సాహికులైన విద్యార్థులకు అందిస్తోంది. డెవలప్మెంట్ స్టడీస్లో సెంటర్ ఫర్ ఎకనామిక్స్ అండ్ సోషల్ స్టడీస్ ద్వారా MPhil, PhDతో పాటు విశ్వవిద్యాలయమే స్వయంగా దూర విద్యా విధాన అంశంపైన PhD వంటి పరిశోధన కోర్సులు ప్రవేశపెట్టింది. సుమారు 4.5 లక్షల మంది విద్యార్థులు ఈ విశ్వవిద్యాలయం నుంచి ఉన్నత విద్యావకాశాలు పొందుతున్నారు. డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం స్థానికంగా స్వయం బోధనా పద్ధతిలో ముద్రణ రూపంలో రూపొందించిన కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అందిస్తోంది. కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అధ్యయనానికి సహకరించే విధంగా రేడియో, టెలివిజన్ పాఠ్యాంశాల ఆధారంగా కార్యక్రమాలు ప్రసారం చేస్తోంది. అధ్యయన కేంద్రాల ద్వారా ఏర్పాటు చేసే సలహా సంసర్గ తరగతులు, సైన్స్ ప్రాక్టికల్ సౌకర్యాలు విద్యార్థులకు స్వయం అధ్యయనానికి ఒక చక్కటి అవకాశం. ఇవి విద్యార్థి సమీపంలో ఉండే అధ్యయన కేంద్రం నుంచే పొందొచ్చు.
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to the teleconference program of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Today's teleconference program is intended for the Master of Library and Information students of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. The duration of this teleconference is 60 minutes. In the first half of the program, our experts will give you an overview of the topic, and in the next 30 minutes, the students are encouraged to interact with the experts to clarify their doubts on the topic. To call the experts, you can call on the numbers 040 2703 1431, 2703 1432, 2703 1433. The topic of today's discussion is Library and Information Science Education in India. Library and Information Science is an interdisciplinary subject intended to impart knowledge and skills to the professionals on the creation, acquisition, management, preservation, dissemination and utilization of information available in all the formats. Library and Information Science education has a history of over 100 years in India. In the beginning, in the year 1901, McFarlane started an in-service program which was intended for the library staff working at the Imperial Library at Calcutta. Later, with the relentless efforts of great personalities like Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, the subject has evolved and grown into a distinct discipline with a well-defined body of theory. And in the recently, with the advances in information technology, the libraries have adopted these technological advances and automated their libraries, and some of the libraries are also going for digitization. To work in the changing technological environment, the library professionals require specialized skills. Consequent to the changes that are taking place in the libraries due to these technological advances, the library and information science education also has redefined their curriculum to meet the needs of the information needs of the society. To take further the discussion on this topic, we have with us in the studios Professor V. Viswa Mohan, from the Department of Library and Information Sciences, Usmania University, Hyderabad. And another eminent professor we have with us today is Professor V. Chandrasekhar Rao, retired from the Department of Library and Information Science, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. To initiate the discussion, first I would like to ask Professor Chandrasekhar Rao, sir, an insight into the history, a study of the history will give us important insights regarding the development of this subject. Can you please explain to our learners what are the early efforts and how the subject has grown in India and established as a discipline?
Thank you, Dr. Saroja. So, the library science education, library and information science education we call it now, so has started with the nomenclature library economy. So, Americans used this term library economy till 1950s. So, later the Ranganathan has recognized this discipline as a science discipline, then he called it library science. So, I think in 1970s it has further changed with the introduction of information science, and now it is called library and information science. So, you see the nomenclature at in various university indifferently. Some people they used to call library economy earlier, then library science, library information science, library science and documentation in some universities, library science and documentation. So, associateship in library science and documentation, that was used by the DRTC, Documentation Research and Training Center, Bangalore. Then library science, library associateship in library and information sciences. So, that was also used later by organizations like NISCARE. Formerly it was INSDOC. So, the nomenclature varied, but now the DRTC has come up with a different nomenclature of saying MS in information science. So, 2 years course. Otherwise, the library science has started as a in-service training initially. Then in some universities they offered as a diploma or PG diploma in some universities. Then certificate also has been offered by some universities. Then 1 year's bachelor's degree after graduation, then 1 year's master's degree, then research degrees like MPhil and PhD. Of course, some 1 or 2 universities are still offering DLIT in library science also.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. When we talk about the nomenclature, recently UGC has insisted that it should be BLib-SC and MLib-SC.
Yes.
So, do you think, in your opinion, is it correct, or we should incorporate the information science also into the nomenclature?
Yeah, definitely the UGC has standardized the abbreviations for the various degrees, and now it is insisting on BLib-SC. So, that means the universities are using BLISC or MLISC, some cases BLIS and MLIS. So, now why the University Grants Commission has been insisting on BLib-SC and MLib-ISC. In the case of MLib-ISC, in the case of BLib-SC only, there is no high as such. So, because when you start BLISC, BL means Bachelor of Law is also there. So, in order to avoid any confusion, they have started BLib-SC and MLib-ISC. So, that I think that is the reason why they have been insisting on using the standard nomenclature for the degrees of the library science. So, as you asked about the history of the library science programs in India, so we can divide this history of library science education programs in India into 4 phases. One is early period, then period of acceptance, then period of growth, and period of modernization. The early period, basically it covers the library science education up to the independence. 1947. So, before in India, this library science education early period covers covers before independence, basically starting with 1901. 1901, they started, as you said, the John McFarlane was the librarian of Imperial Library. Now it is called National Library, which is located in Calcutta. He used it to offer in-service training program for the staff members. Later, it was extended to the librarians of Calcutta and also other states. So, that was the beginning, we can say. But full-fledged program was offered in 1911, that is by Baroda. The princely state of Baroda, they actually offered this first full-fledged program in library science, because the Maharaja, princely, the Maharaja of
Sayajirao Gaikwad.
Sayajirao Gaikwad
of
III. So, he wanted to develop the libraries in his state, public library system in the state. So, he invited experts from the America. So, William Allinson Borden. So, Allinson Borden, he was the disciple student of Melville Dewey. He was invited to India to develop the library system in India, in Baroda state, and he was also involved in the training of the librarians at the Baroda state. So, that was the first beginning of full-fledged training program in India, we can say. That is why from 1911 to 2011, we call it 100 years. 100 years, we celebrated 100 years of library science education in India in 2011. So, then that was the beginning, and later I think in 1914 Andhra Pradesh Library Association was formed, and a few years later it has also started training the library workers at Vijayawada. Then in 1921 Punjab University, so there Asa Don Dickinson started the librarian of Punjab University, that was in the combined region of the India, United India at that time. So, without before partition, he also started the library science training program. So, then in 1920, of course, in Mysore state in Bangalore that time. So, the Diwan of Mysore, so Visvesvaraya, under his patronage, the library science training programs were organized, and in the Madras later, by the time 1925, Ranganathan entered into the library science field as a university librarian of Madras University. Then in 1929 to 30, they offered library science training programs, so in Madras, now Chennai. So, this is the early period. Apart from this, the other states, in other states also some training program were organized by the universities. So, Banaras Hindu University, Bombay University, so then University of Calcutta. So, these universities also arrange training programs in the library science program. Most of the training programs were diplomas, postgraduate diploma in library and information science. Then next one is period of acceptance. So, in 1949, I think the Delhi University, where Ranganathan has joined as a professor of and university librarian there, and he started training programs. So, he started in 1949 the BLSC, Bachelor of Library and Information Science, bachelor, then Master of Library Information Science programs. So, he also guided one candidate, D.B. Krishna Rao, who got PhD under the supervision of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan in Library and Information Science. So, at that time there was very criticism against whether the library science program can be recognized as an education program at the university level, and there was some opposition from the other faculties, even awarding a degree in library, doctorate degree in library information science. So, that is why we call it the period of acceptance. So, then at that time many other universities also started training programs,
including Usmania
University,
during that time. Rajasthan,
Rajasthan, Andhra University, then the other universities, University of Ujjain, many universities started. I think by 1950s, 60s, I think there are more than 30-40 universities must be offering the programs. So, this is the second phase. Third phase is the growth, period of growth. So, at this time the Ranganathan has also started a DRTC, Documentation Research and Training Center, in 1962, so at Bangalore, and started offering associateship in library science and documentation, ADISC. So, then I think the INSEADOC started 2 years later, and they also started offering the associateship in library science and documentation in the year 1977. So, by 80s, many universities, maybe 60, 70 universities may be offering the library information science programs in India. So, at the time 80s, the period of modernization of library science and libraries has begun. So, because the computers, large scale introduction of computers and the microcomputers have entered into the market, and their applications in many fields including libraries has started at that time. So, ultimately 1990s, the CDS ISIS was released by the UNESCO. So, later that was the beginning of developing the applications for the libraries in the computer field. So, this is what exactly there is a small brief picture of library and information science education in the 4 phases.
Thank you, Professor Chandrasekhar Rao. You have given an excellent account of the LIS education, how it started in India, what are the different phases in the early period, what are the efforts by the library associations also. It is interesting to note that library associations including Andhra Desa Library Association, Madras Library Association, Karnataka Library, they have all played an important role in the evolution of the subject. And you have also talked about the growth of the libraries and how the library science discipline has gained acceptance in the society with the efforts of Dr. S. R. Ranganathan, and also he also produced a PhD under his guidance, and later on several universities also have accepted this course. And now to continue this, Professor Viswa Mohan, can you throw some more light on the modernization of these libraries and the curriculum of this thing, and also please give an account of the status of library and information science in India today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saroja Garu. In fact, modernization of libraries and information science education, we should view it in a different way, because modernization of education itself means that application of latest technologies. And you all know that when we have information technology revolution, and under such technological developments and then technological environment, now what kind of changes we bring in, that would account for modernization of the educational programs. And library and information science is not an exception, because we see that every subject is almost modernized with the changing developments and then in technological environment. But when it comes to modernization of library and information science education, we should certainly say that the library and information science curricula were dealing with the traditional library organization, library management and library services, traditional library services,
Cataloging.
cataloging, classification and reference services and all that, and they were all manual services. Now, ever since IT applications have rather IT invaded almost all fields, and IT invasion is also there in libraries. So, when libraries are modernized, like automation of libraries has taken place. Now, what happened is that the schools of library and information science, in other words the departments of library and information science, also have to rather they had to revise their syllabuses in tune with the changing developments. So, that is how modernization has taken place, and then we all know that it was Delhi University Department of Library Science. It was the first department in the country. In early 1980s itself, it has introduced an optional paper on library automation, and later all departments have followed, and then you can say that there is no department today in India which is not offering library automation paper. And there are also papers on IT, introduction to information technology and IT application, ICTs. And for your kind information, of late when we talk about what you call changes in the curriculum and then syllabus of the library and information science programs, we have say papers on metadata and digital libraries and institutional repositories and cyber laws and then webometrics and all such components are getting into the library science curriculum. And don't you say that this is kind of modernization?
Yes.
So, and then when we introduce these latest topics, and what we need to do is we have to use this technology also. And without use of these technologies and then providing hands-on training to the students, we cannot say that we are really modernizing our programs. So, therefore, I would like to say with all confidence and then say clearly, rather point blank, that almost all departments that are offering library and information science in India have their own computer labs, and then they are using ICTs to impart education to the students. And that is how modernization is taking place. And these days we also see that there are some diploma courses, innovative. UGC has come out with a program like innovative programs, and under those under that particular scheme, some of the departments have also started introducing new courses like PG diploma in digital information management, and then there are PG diploma courses in library automation and networking, and as there are a lot of changes. So, this is all this all amounts to modernization of library and information science education in India.
Thank you very much, Professor Viswa Mohan. You have very rightly pointed out that on one hand there is information explosion, and on the other hand the technology advances are progressing very rapidly, and taking advantages of the technological advances, libraries have offering digital library services, and consequently to the changes that are happening in the libraries, the library science education also has incorporated the papers for imparting instruction on the technological
And of course,
skills.
I would like to say one more thing, that Professor Chandrasekhar Rao must be looking at this, why he is not really dealing with e-learning programs. So, as a matter of fact, that when we are modernizing, we will come to that.
We will also discuss the e-learning initiatives also shortly in the discussion ahead.
I think at this juncture I may add one more point. The UGC has, Universal Grants Commission has played a major role in the advancement of library and information science curriculum. You can see there are 4 committees, so it has constituted. So, starting from 1961, in 1961 S.R. Ranganathan's committee, that is a review committee on LIS Education. So, it has played a very prominent role, and its recommendations which were forwarded in 1965 under the chairmanship of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, they are very noteworthy. One is delinking of the certificate program from the universities. That is a major program. So, till that time the university was still offering the certificate programs, and that committee they recommended delinking the certificate program. And from that point, from that time, the library associations have taken up offering the certificate program, and universities have restricted their education programs from the bachelor degrees. Some universities they are offering postgraduate diplomas, of course, and master degrees and research. So that was a basic point we can note about this committee. Second one is a full-time faculty in the departments. So in the earlier, the librarians, so in the universities, they used to take up the classes, and Ranganathan's committee has recognized the library science department as a separate teaching department like any other academic departments. So that is another. And also Ranganathan committee recommended for the status equivalent to the academic community, or who are the librarians as well as library science teachers. So these are the three major key points of among the recommendations of the
and also I think it has recommended the ratio for teacher-student ratio for the BLS and MLIS programs.
Yeah, maybe. Then second committee is CDC, Curriculum Development Committee, under the chairmanship of Professor P.N. Kaula. He was Professor of Library Science at Banaras Hindu University in the Department of Library Science. In 91, he recommended the curriculum for the B.Lib and M.Lib, and also the other programs. The next committee was in 2001 by the UGC under the professor chairmanship of Professor C.R. Kadisiddappa. He was Professor of Library and Information Science at Karnataka University, Dharwad. He recommended the model curriculum. At that time, the UGC has recommended model curriculum for different disciplines. So among the different prominent disciplines, library science was also recognized, and Kadisiddappa committee, the committee has studied the library science schools and also the mode of instruction and also curriculum contents, and they suggested a model curriculum for the library science, B.Lib.Sc, M.Lib.Sc separately, as well as integrated 2S MLIS program. So some universities they have experimented with this 2S MLIS program. So in universities, many universities, about 21 universities, I think still they are offering 2S MLIS program. So later in 2006, as you know, the National Knowledge Commission was appointed so at the national level. In the National Knowledge Commission, there was a subcommittee on libraries and library science education. So they recommended a national mission for library science education. So that is one major recommendation. Second one is an advanced institution for library science.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. We have a incoming call here.
Okay.
We'll take the call and then resume the discussion. Yes. May I know who is speaking? Hello, please introduce yourself. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. I am Rajshekar from Mumbai.
Oh, Mumbai.
Yes, please.
Hello. Yeah, I am Rajshekar from Mumbai.
Volume, please. Volume, you have to reduce the volume. We can't hear it properly.
Yeah, my name is Rajshekar.
Yes, please tell me. What is your question?
Yeah, one question to Professor Viswa.
Okay.
Yeah, in view of the latest technology and developments, what will be the future of library science?
In view of the technology?
Developments, what will be the future of library science?
What is the future of library science? Okay, sir. Professor Vishwamohan, sir. Mr. Kiran wants to know,
No,
in
it is Rajshekar.
the light of the technology, what is the future of the library science education in India?
Now, Mr. Rajshekar, this is an interesting question you have posed, and I would like to tell you that we have a brighter future, because you all know that the human society is getting transformed from agrarian society to industrial society to information society, and from information society to knowledge societies now. Now the emerging societies are knowledge societies, in which information and knowledge play a very vital role in social development and economic development. So therefore, as a matter of fact, in future we require more and more information workers and knowledge workers. And now you all know that information revolution has taken place, knowledge revolution is going to take place because of the new technologies and the ICTs or information technology revolution, all that. Unless and until the syllabi and then the course contents of library and information sciences are modernized, rather revised, to rather incorporate the developments in the field, and then say deal with all web based resources, internet based resources, we will not be in a position to really render dynamic services in the libraries. And every industry, every sector, every body needs information, and without information, without knowledge, no institution grows. So therefore, every institution needs knowledge workers, every institution needs information workers, and these information workers should be well equipped with the latest developments in the field, and they must be abreast of the latest technologies and latest technological developments. So therefore, when we have incorporated these latest developments in our curriculum, we are equipping our students with the latest developments and technological skills. So naturally, future is going to be very bright, and then every sector needs information workers and knowledge workers with IT skills, and then rather professional skills. So if our students have got, rather those who pursue library and information science programs with the changed, revised syllabi or curriculum, naturally they will have better placements and better rather prospects. This is what it is.
Thank you, Professor Mohan, for answering the question, and I hope your doubt is cleared now. And let us continue the discussion. Before the question, answering the question, we were discussing about the curriculum, and Professor Chandrasekhar Rao has explained the various committees appointed from time to time, starting from Ranganathan committee, and then Professor Kaula committee, and the Professor Karsidappa committee, which gave important recommendations for the revising the curriculum, and then for incorporating changes into the curriculum. So quickly, I would like to ask Professor Mohan about this. See, we say that curriculum reflects the educational quality of the educational program. So do you think we should also, along with the modern concepts, how much weightage should be given to the traditional concepts, or do you think these are both should be kept, or we should wean away with the older concepts and only new concepts should be incorporated? What is your opinion?
In fact, this is an interesting question. And the point here is actually the basics are basics. Without basics, without fundamentals, you cannot really grow. We have witnessed that there are so many library automation software developed by software engineers, and most of them were not really up to the mark because they did not really bother about the basics, and then basic conventions, traditions, or rather the rules and regulations, the theory that is followed by library professionals. In other words, what librarians practice, they did not really bother. So they developed some software on their own, and naturally that software and those packages were not really compatible. So therefore, without having the basics, it is very difficult. And at the same time, see, the thing is, the fundamentals as it is, like knowledge organization. I just now said that in the knowledge, emerging knowledge societies, we need knowledge workers, and knowledge workers organize knowledge, they deal with knowledge, and without having rather basic knowledge of how knowledge grows, and then what are the modes of formation of knowledge, and how concepts are coupled, or rather there is a relation between concept and concept mapping, and these are all fundamentals actually. And without that, and then when you talk about traditional rather components in the library and information science education, we have cataloging, which primarily deals with access points.
Yes.
Actually, without having what you call valid access points, and then access points which will have more recall value and precision value, you will not be in a position to really do efficient retrieval, information retrieval.
Yes.
So therefore, I would say that actually all these developments depend on the fundamentals themselves. So without fundamentals, there is no development at all. So we have to give equal weightage to both modern concepts, modern developments, and also the traditional
So we should strike a balance between the traditional concepts and the modern concepts while planning the LIS curriculum.
Let me add one point. So when we started the professional career, I think 3 decades back when I entered into the library science discipline, so it was completely a traditional library science program. So we never had any opportunity to learn about the computers. Computers were at that time just initiated, computer. So there was nothing like IT applications in library science curriculum. Later, what we have done, we have acquired the knowledge of computers and we are implementing. That means we are in the now at the transition stage almost. So we have almost passed the transition stage also. So now we are slowly entering into the more IT oriented era. So even then, as Professor Mohan explained us, so the fundamental aspects, basic aspects need to be studied, need to be incorporated into the curriculum, which may act as a foundation for the developing the subject and learning the IT based or ICT based developments and their integration into the library science discipline.
Thank you, Professor Chandrasekhar garu. Can you please quickly, you have 30 years of experience in distance education, you have rendered in the Open University, and as far my knowledge goes, AP Open University is the first university to start LIS programs through distance. So can you share few of your experiences and the challenges you faced in imparting LIS education through distance? And also I request you to quickly give an account of how many universities are there, what are the status of LIS education through distance mode.
So I think in India 118 universities are offering BLS and MLSC program. So some university MLS program in this one, and in distance mode I think there are about 60 universities may be offering. So maybe including the dual mode, open universities as well as dual mode universities. That means the traditional university which have the correspondence schools which are offering the library science education along with the open university. In India there are 14 open universities. Among these 14 universities, 5 open universities offering library science program. At the national level, Indira Gandhi National Open University, so which started in 1985. So then the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Open University was started in 1982 as Andhra Pradesh Open University. So from 1985, the BRAOU has been offering BLSC program. So from 1998, it has started offering MLIS program. So apart from Indira Gandhi National Open University and also the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, we have Ardhaman Open University at Kota, which is offering postgraduate diploma and diploma in library information science. Then Netaji Subhash Chandra Open University, Kolkata, they are offering BLS program. Then Nasik YCMYU Yashwantrao Chauhan, Maharashtra Open University YCMYU is offering BLSC program. So these are the 5 universities offering the library science programs to distance mode. So whereas in the case of BRAOU and IGNOU, they are offering BLSC as well as MLIC program and also PhD programs. So MPhil and PhD programs we have started. Then the So, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, apart from the BLS and MLS program, it is also offering MLS to online e-learning mode area started offering MLS program. So, that is one, and PG diploma in library automation and networking. So, in the case of University of Hyderabad, which has started 1 year postgraduate diploma in library automation and networking. Apart from that one, IGNOU is also started offering that program. So, in the distance mode, so these are the universities which have been offering library science programs.
Thank you, Professor Chandrasekhar Garu. Professor Mohan, can you give an account of the LIS education through conventional universities? So, how many, what are the important universities?
No, important universities, of course, we should not say that, this university is important, that university is not important. Now, I would like to say that actually, when it comes to the status of LIS education itself, now there was there was a lot of confusion and problem like does it belong to the science faculty or social science faculty?
Yes.
And this is how as you said, if you are offering a program through science faculty, then naturally your program has got some recognition and some status. And at the same time, we have got of course almost all universities that are offering library science programs since 1950s. They are all well experienced universities like Delhi University, Andhra University, and then Mysore University. You have so many universities offering. But then when it comes to those universities which have recently started, and they have to gain experience, they have to improve themselves. So, that is how experience counts a lot. So, apart from that, when it comes to status of library science education in India, I would like to say that actually the educational program which is offered in this particular field was as Professor Chandrasekhar said, in the beginning it was certificate course and then diploma courses. And naturally, certificate courses and diploma courses have they do not have professional status at all, and rather master's degree status. So, therefore, we started offering when Ranganathan's committee and then other committees they have suggested that university should not offer this and it should be delinked, and university started offering BLIBSc and MLIBSc and BLISc and MLISc programs, and they are all 1 year programs. And naturally, the BLIBSc or BLISc program it suffered a lot. That is it undergraduate? There is confusion even in the universities whether it is undergraduate program or postgraduate program. I always fight with people and I say that it is a postgraduate degree. It is not undergraduate degree, because BLISc or BLIBSc is offered after one degree only. The eligibility criteria for this admission into this program is any graduate is eligible. So, naturally it is a postgraduate degree. So, that's we have this problem. So, therefore, the library science departments have conceived this particular a solution to this particular problem, and they have initiated 2 years integrated program. With 2 years integrated program, the status of library science education, library science programs has rather gone to the PG master's degree status. And of course, you know that now most of the universities are offering MPhil and PhD programs also. So, that is and there are so many continuing education programs. So, as it is there is lot of demand for library science programs in the country.
True.
And more and more universities and then rather academic bodies are showing interest in this, and Westman University is going to introduce one more program in one of its PG centers now, because people feel that there is a lot of demand. So, that is what it is.
It's very true. Thank you, Professor Mohan. You have said a very relevant point here. Can you please, Sir Professor Chandrasekhar Garu, can you please explain what kind of skills and competencies are required for the LIS professionals in the present day environment to work in the library environment?
So, the skills regarding these skills, we need we can divide them into 3 types. One is generic skills, then technological skills, then professional skills. So, some we can also say the managerial skills also may be included in the generic. So, the generic skills generally required for day-to-day planning of the libraries, generally planning and decision making, leadership skills, etc. The technological skills, in the case of in this case we have they should have the knowledge about the hardware, software, library automation, then digitization, then searching the internet, mainly using of the Web 2 tools and mainly the social networking tools. So, all these skills are required in the technological front, unless because as we have already discussed, the technological part is overpowering the traditional aspects of the librarianship. In that case, the librarians in the library science curriculum also, technological skills should be given more emphasis. So,
Sir, would you like to add something?
Add something.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, these days we feel that soft skills, it is soft skills that are very essential. Library and information centers are part of communication system. So, when they are part of communication system, librarians are communicators basically. So, therefore, I would like to state that basically librarians should be good communicators and they should have communication skills. And as Professor Chandrasekhar Rao said, searching, information searching skills. Now, we have a latest concept that information literacies. They must acquire information literacy skills. And that's latest what do you call we have so many skills like we have IT skills, and then say amongst soft skills themselves, leadership qualities, and then librarians are actually we should say that because they deal with the knowledge resources in the society, they are most powerful people, and they should have the leadership qualities, and they should know how to use knowledge for betterment of the society and how to channelize the reading habits of the people. So, therefore, they are also community counselors, subject counselors. So, therefore, they should have leadership qualities, so that they will lead the society. So, that is how I strongly feel that along with the professional skills, the soft skills are more important for librarians, because they always deal with the software or in other words knowledge as a software.
Thank you, Professor Mohan. Just now our experts have said that we need different types of skills, including professional skills, general skills, managerial skills, leadership skills, and soft skills, and technology skills, communication skills. So, the national, I would like to add a point here. The National Knowledge Commission in the year in the year 2006, it has also recommended what kind of skills should the library information science professionals possess. So, they said that the library information professional should possess 7 kinds of skills. One is information handling skills, and the second one is service orientation skills, which includes concern for the user, support for the user, and helping the user in searching, retrieval, etc. And another skills is ICT and knowledge skills, communication skills, marketing skills, which are very important. Most of the librarians, they were lagging behind these marketing skills, and cultural skills, another part. Now with the evolution of internet, the entire globe it has become a global village. So in this we also need to have some knowledge about the cultures across the countries, and to promote cooperation and exchange of manpower. So we also need some kind of cultural skills are also prescribed, and then knowledge mapping skills. So these are some of the skills which were prescribed by the National Knowledge Commission. I think you want to have a.
In fact, it is like this. They are all part of professional skills and soft skills only. So therefore, they might have stated specifically, and cultural skills. Now it has become what do you call trend, like a fashion, that whatever you deal with, and you should have a skill. Unless and until you have a skill dealing with that, you will not be in a position to what do you call do well in that particular field.
So far we have discussed the history of library and information science education in India. We have also talked about the status of library and information science in traditional universities as well as in distance education, and we have also talked about the important landmarks in the curriculum development in the library and information science education, and also we have covered some of the competencies and skills required for the library and information science professionals. And we will continue with the important aspect of this topic, that is the impact of ICT and e-learning initiatives that were taking place in library and information science education. Professor Chandrasekhar, now the e-learning has become a buzzword. So can you explain about this e-learning? Are we ready? Really, the library and information science education is ready to go for e-learning, and what is your opinion? And
So e-learning is otherwise called online learning. So the name indicates what is e-learning, electronic learning. Okay. So the content is electronic form, and e-communication, the content is communicated electronically. So that means you have the network, you have the gadgets, so computers and other gadgets are there. So the content is stored into that one, and the content is communicated across the world through internet. So internet has many features like email, websites, online chat. So then many other features are there, even social networking, Web2 tools are there. So you can use all these tools and you can communicate the content of a one. Any course can be offered through online. So many universities are offering online courses, including library science in other countries. So in India it has yet to pick up. As you said, is it ready? Yes, we are ready, because so we are using the internet for many things. So for communicating with the learners, we are using the gadget like teleconferencing, video conferencing. Then we are sending the messages, we are sending the emails to the students. But except as a course, we have not yet to begin that one. But the Indira Gandhi National Open University has been offering MLIS through online mode. It has started some e-learning course on CDS in the about 3-4 years back, I think 5 years back. Then from the I think last 2 years it has started offering the MLIS course also. So in Andhra Pradesh, in India of course there are about more than 118 universities offering a library science program, out of which 105 are offering BLSC, 78 are offering MLISc, then 21 2 years MLISc program, then 16 offering MPhil, and 46 PhD programs and 2 DLit programs. So all these programs are only in the traditional pattern. So when it comes to online programs, maybe I think those universities which have been offering through distance mode, they can slowly shift their pattern of offering, mode of offering this, the BLSC courses or MLS courses through online mode. So that we are ready, the internet is ready, internet has been pervading anywhere. So the problem is, one of the problems is about the bandwidth, that is one. Second is developing the content in the electronic form, that is one. That is because we have open source softwares are there, training programs offered by SAMHSA and other institutions, Commonwealth of Learning, other institutions. So these many software programs are there. So the platform is ready for offering the online programs.
So thank you, sir. You said we are almost ready. We are almost ready. We have the, we are already doing it. This teleconference itself is making use of this technology we are offering. This is also part of e-learning, but through the internet, we need some content, and the technology needs to be penetrated into the rural areas also, from where our students can access the courses if we offer.
What I feel is e-learning program should be supplementary and complementary, and they cannot replace
yes, that is a very valid point, very valid point, that right now we can supplement the conventional programs through e-learning mode, and there are a lot of things to discuss. More are there to discuss. There are massive online open source courses are also coming into the picture, where most of the Indian students are showing interest towards the massive online courses which are being offered. They have also several advantages that from the prestigious institutions, students can get their certificates or degrees. Short term courses especially they can pursue at their own pace and place. So these are some of the advantages, but right now India has not ventured into this MOOCs, and very shortly I think India also will be making a step ahead in this direction. And with this we have I think we have discussed several aspects right from the history, status of LIS education, and then landmarks in the curriculum development and skills and competences required for the library professionals. And then we have also discussed the impact, and with this discussion I thank the professors for coming to our studios and participating in this discussion. Thank you one and all.
Thank you.